Check that out, guys. Little new swag for when we're RCing. Even got our name on the back. Whew. Shout out to Andrea Sarver for hooking me up with the PBR team driver shirt. Really, 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 really appreciate it. I never did give you an official shout out on the channel, so wanted to make sure I did that. What's going on, guys? Walter with the RC Addiction Vlog. Guys, today's a cool day. We got Traxxas parts. We got Traxxas shocks. What are we doing with all this stuff? Let's dive into it, see what we got going on. We're working on a two-wheel drive Stampede. More importantly, the two-wheel drive Bigfoot, the licensed monster truck, the Stampede monster truck from Traxxas. Boom. We got a really, really, really dirty Bigfoot. And we're kind of in the mood to do some upgrades. And what I wanted to do, I just took a trip down to Al's, my local hobby shop, Traxxas dealer in Medford, and picked up some of my goodies. One of the big ones that I like doing is the caster blocks, or the caster pieces for your Traxxas two-wheel drive platforms. And these are the 30-degree, they call them caster blocks. I was right. Here, I'll give you a good shot of the part number, 3632A. And the A stands for the aluminum. And then obviously I picked the blue to match the blue monster truck body. So we did that. These are a really, really good upgrade, guys. And I'll tell you why. This doesn't cause another weak point. Because a lot of times when you upgrade something, right, you do aluminum arms on an X-Max or on a Rustler or a sledge, you kind of end up breaking other parts that you normally wouldn't break on that particular car if you would have just left it stock, right? Or just if you did break it, just replace it with the plastic one, the OEM plastic one. And sometimes when you upgrade stuff with the aluminum stuff, you end up, strengthening the aluminum part and why that breaks, but then you'll create a weak point somewhere else in the car. And sometimes that weak point can be in a more expensive part than the part that you originally upgraded, like these caster blocks. So these caster blocks were, I just round up, they were $19.95, but you figure $20, right? So there's $20 to put those on there. And let's say the weak point now is the arm, and I start breaking arms. Well, a pair of arms is like $25, I think. So now I've cost myself $5 extra from the original upgrade. So we always try to keep that stuff in mind when we're doing upgrades to our Traxxas RTR stuff, because we understand that the hobby is expensive. And so we want to make sure that we keep things affordable and show you guys good ways to do that. So that's my number one. I pretty much do this to every two-wheel drive / Stampede, any of those platforms, the Fortec, same thing. These are really, really good upgrades. So and it's always cool. We always love putting bling on our cars, and they offer the color matched aluminum to the Bigfoot body. So the other one that we're going to do today is the Traxxas Big Bore shock set. Okay, and we are doing these because we bent a shock shaft in one of the front. It'd be the front left specifically shock the other day when we were bashing it. That we were launching it off this big snow jump that we made, and it came down real hard on the driver's side corner of the car. And I kind of figured something was going to happen when I saw it coming down on that one side, but you can't really do anything about it. The one thing I wanted to do to this originally was put some good shocks on it. And, I've had tons of conversations with my buddy Eric at Al that works down at Al's Hobbies. And I will tell you guys, if you guys ever want to pick somebody's brain about the RC hobby, he will break it down for you, man. He will give you what's the best bang for your buck, what not to buy, what to buy, and just the ins and outs of things. And he's taught me a lot in the hobby. I mean, a lot in the hobby. And one of the things is to be very, how do I put this? You want to be frugal with your upgrades, because we don't want to, the idea is that you shouldn't have to, right? We want to be able to run this thing the way it comes out of the box. But sometimes, depending on how we drive them, that can't always be done. So one of the things that we get into is shocks, because the stock shocks on the two-wheel drive platforms, they're not very good. They don't hold up very long, especially if you're big into bashing and you're going to do a lot of jumping. And it's just kind of one of the downsides to the cheaper, brushed two-wheel drive platforms that Traxxas makes. But there's ways around it. And fairly inexpensive ways too, depending on how you look at it. So this is a complete set of what Traxxas calls the big bore shock package. And this is, let's see, these were $60, right? So this whole kit for all four is $60. And this is, guys, I bought all this stuff with my own money. This is not a Traxxas advertisement by any means. This is true real life experience that I deal with in the hobby every day, every single day, with what I buy and what I drive and bash and all that. So this set of shocks comes with the upgraded shock shafts, the nitrate shock shafts. And the nice part is that you do get to build these with whatever fluid you want. You can use the included Traxxas fluid, but a lot of times if you're big into the hobby like us, you got a lot of different shock fluids laying around for your race buggies and your race trucks and your stadium trucks and stuff like that. And so I particularly use Team Losi shock oil. It's just one of my favorites. I don't know why. I've just always stuck with that. And I always do the Team Losi oil in everything, whether it's my Traxxas, my race buggies, it doesn't matter. I change the weights up depending on what I'm working on, but I don't ever change from Losi fluid. It's always some sort of Losi fluid. So we are going to use the Losi fluid in these, but these are a nice package, and I'll tell you why. One reason is that they come with an upgraded shock valve than the valving, and what that does in the instance of this truck, the two-wheel drive Stampede, is it's a lot more forgiving. When you have a different valve setup, it changes the dynamic of how that shock works, right? And so when we do that, we're going to change what happens when the car lands on the ground. And by doing that, we can prevent certain things from happening, like bending more shock shafts or bending an arm or bending a caster block, right? And that's the other reason we have the caster blocks. So with the different shocks and the little bit different valving that we're going to do in them, and all we're going to do is take that normal 2-hole piston that Traxxas would provide, and I'll show you in here when I get into that and show you, but it's just a 2-hole piston, 1 hole on each end of the shaft. We are going to make those holes just a little bit bigger, and when I say a little bit bigger, I mean about a 0.5 millimeter bigger. And what that does is allow more fluid to come to the top of the shock when it's compressed all the way, and not allow the shock to get frozen up and to just bend the shaft, instead of allowing the shock shaft to come all the way through the body. And so pretty intuitive tip there as far as eliminating you ever bending shock shafts again. Now, will it never ever happen again? I mean, I can't guarantee that. But in everything that I've done this to, it has worked so far, and I haven't changed the way I, bash and jump them. So really, really good tech tip there. So make sure, let's see. I think what we're going to do is probably, I used this on my last monster truck. This is the 45 weight Team Losi oil, shock oil. That's probably what we're going to use. Hopefully we got enough for the car. Maybe not. We might have to go pick some more up. All right, here it is. We got those new shocks all mounted up, all filled up with that Team Losi oil. I'm sorry, guys. I'm feeling a little sick, and yeah, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I apologize for that. So we got those big bore shocks mounted front and rear. Got them filled up with that Team Losi oil. I screwed up, guys. I screwed up. I forgot what this car had. This car came with the heavy duty kit from Traxxas. And so these do not fit. I screwed up. I forgot about that heavy duty kit. So those didn't go on there like we wanted to. They're not going to work for the heavy duty kits. The arms and the way everything mounts out at the wheel hex and the axle is just too different for the metal or the aluminum parts to work. So we had to scrap those, take those back to Al's, use it as another excuse to maybe get something else. But we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure if you guys like this video that you smash that like button. And if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to be a part of all the cool content that we're making. We also did clean it up a little bit. We used a Hide wipe on the body, so she looks a little fresh now. And then a little Moo Clean tire wash. Get those monster truck tires all cleaned up, ready for that next show. All right, guys, we'll see you later.